Well, thank you guys for joining me on this live video. We're just gonna hang out, have some fun, do some painting. I would encourage you to like the video, share the stream on Facebook and on social media, and subscribe if you're not already. Also, feel free to ask questions. We've got a whole crew of people back here, my family helping me. So they'll be feeding me your questions while I'm painting. So hopefully get a chance to answer them. Also, we've got Gary moderating in the stream. So give a big hi to Gary there too. All right, we're gonna jump in to this painting. I've kind of decided to do just kind of a simple, you can see I've already been sketching up here, a simple summer landscape, little road, lots of trees. Should be fun. Should be fun. I'm going to try to keep this to about an hour, but you know me. All right, I've got a little clear gel and white already up here. I'm going to take a 2-inch brush, and honestly, I don't know that I want much sky. This is just going to be mist, So let's start with that. A little blue, a little white. All right, that's almost too much blue. What do you think? A little more red. Okay. Super pale, super pale. Oh yeah, we can work with that. All right, I already got a question. And I'm gonna, for the most part, repeat the questions because you guys probably can't hear through my little microphone. The question was, am I gonna post this once it's all done on YouTube? Absolutely, it will be there on YouTube for you to watch, and we're not going to do any edits here, so just what you see is what you get. If you guys want to follow along, you can. It's not really an instructional video. I'm going to kind of rush through a lot of this. So if you need better instruction, I would encourage you to jump over to our website and pick up one of the DVD or download lessons, especially the Technique series will help you immensely. If you're struggling with like little easy stuff like trees, they're easy once you learn them, but before you learn them, not so easy. All right, what do you think? Pretty decent? Halfway decent? There, we're just having fun. Just having fun. All right, let's see here. So that's literally our background. I think what I want to do, it's a brand new brush. So if this sheds a little bit, that's why it's brand new. I'd like to go ahead and create some sort of a kind of a tree line in the mist. Very subtle, very subtle. So I got sap green, kind of some of that same color. You know me, I throw those colors one on top of the other just to help tie the painting together. There's nothing worse than a painting that looks separated and not tied together. Now, you may have heard me mention in the past, and I hold to this, I think it's true. It's harder to paint with subtle colors than it is with bold colors. With bold colors, it just seems to flow. Color mixes go easily. When you're painting with subtle colors, it seems like you spend twice as long mixing your paint. Anybody else? I'm actually curious. We're live. I'm curious. Anybody else kind of know what I'm talking about? Do you have that same problem? All right, what's the question? All right, am I using acrylic or oil? Today I am using oil. Last week I think I used acrylic. No, I didn't. I used oil last week, and then 2 weeks ago I did acrylic. I do them, I change it up. But you could certainly do this in both. It wouldn't really matter. Especially this one really wouldn't matter. All right, what do you think? A little more? Super random at this point. I am using, oh, by the way, all of these supplies can be found on the website. So I'm using, this is Prussian blue with green, that's sap green, Prussian blue, ivory black, burnt umber, that's cad yellow, yellow ochre. That's not actually, we never talk about that. That is not cad yellow. That is Hansa yellow, but it's so similar, and that's Naphtol red, but it's so similar to cad red. So use them interchangeably, but that's what I sell on the website. All right, that works pretty good. We're gonna be here forever. I gotta get a bigger brush. I can see us now. We're done with the painting. We'll be done with our hour, and I will have background trees, and you guys will be very bored. So we're gonna skip that. We're gonna skip that. Am I gonna? Oh, that's a great question. Thank you for asking that. Am I gonna be doing any workshops? Absolutely. In fact, I am already starting to look into hotels that I can go do some workshops with, because it is way past time. I meant to get at it a lot earlier, but just life has been kind of crazy. So But we are definitely getting back to workshops very, very soon. And if you are not subscribed to the newsletter, that is your best way. I mean, yeah, you get it on Facebook and whatnot, but the newsletter is the best way to find out what I'm doing. So go on the website and sign up for the newsletter, because then you'll be sure to get your seat before it is sold out, because I imagine this class is going to be sold out really fast. But there we go. I like that. See what I mean? Subtle colors take forever. I'm still painting these background trees. This is just crazy. I'd like it. I just want it a little darker here, kind of to represent shadow. Yeah. Am I going to do any more acrylic DVDs? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just a matter of time. So did we? Yeah, we did just. Is that not out yet? Okay, so we just filmed. Thank you. We just filmed one then. We literally just filmed one and it's coming out. So that's exciting. Yeah, it is. It's a waterfall. I'm looking at it right over there. It's a waterfall. So you can look forward to that acrylic DVD here in the next week or so. Cool. I thought that was out already. All right, that looks really cool. Let's get us. I like that. Does anybody else like that? It's just misty and kind of, I think it works. All right. Hey, I'm going to encourage myself. It's okay to do that, by the way. You got to have a positive outlook when you paint, because it's just supposed to be fun. It really is. Yeah.
What are the best colors for sky?
What are the best color for sky? Yeah, if your skies are too vivid, I'll take my Prussian blue and I'll just put in 5 or 10% of that red. That'll help a lot. That'll help a lot. And if you can actually put in a little black too, if you're finding your skies just coming out way too vivid, put in just a little black. Speaking of black, here's some black, sap green, brown, and I'm going to underpaint. I'm just going to try my best to get a lot of this covered because we don't have unlimited time. Again, see what I mean? It's harder to paint with subtle colors. You know, everybody can make a vivid sky. It's kind of hard to make a subtle sky. There, look at that. See that clear gel and white that I put on before we started? It's kind of already starting to work for me. Now, this is supposed to look like the little path is like floating in over the hill, you know, kind of into the mist and then over the hill, if that makes sense. So let me get a little more mist going here. Get rid of those little stragglers. Like I said, brand new brushes, so a lot of shedding today. That looks pretty good. I think what I would do is just right back here. Let me get some of my lighter colors, my lighter yellows and whatnot. And I just want to play. I know you're like, what am I doing there? I'm just getting some background color. Just literally some background color, because this is going to be a little bit on the backlit side here. I think that'll be so pretty. The color to work with. That's all that is. Yeah. Is that perfect? No, but I think we can work with it. How about a little background color right here? See that? All right. Yeah. What's the next question?
How long have you been painting, and do you paint for a living?
All right. How long have I been painting, and do I paint for a living? I do paint for a living. I've been painting for very close to 10 years, I think. If not 10 years. Yeah. All right. There we go. A lot of the white, most of the white. And I'm literally just I'm not going to make this any big deal today. Just going to hit it. On the corner, see that? Just the corner of the trees, if that makes any sense. Kind of illuminate that tree. See how it looks like it's glowing? Oh, I like that. Subtle? Absolutely. But hey, the subtle things are nice. See that? Very bright color. Very, very bright color. Okay. Yeah. What is my focal point for the painting? Great question. So I think what you're going to be drawn to is just the brightness in the middle. I really do, because we're going super dark on this side, and kind of like we got that fence running through here. Your eye is going to hit the road, hit the fence, be blocked by the tree, and you're going to hopefully just, as you're looking at it, you're going to want to just walk back the path. That's the idea. But you know, it's all kind of up in the air because things happen. That's the idea so far. And we need to get more vivid as we come out here. much more vivid. How is my son? He is doing great. We should actually get him in a video here pretty soon. He's doing very good, getting very big, getting very chatty. There we go. That looks good. All right, what do you think? Let's get us, I'm tired of that brush. I wanted something a little different. Fan brush. Fan brush. Let's get some sap green, some of our cad yellow.
How do you clean your blender?
How do I clean my blender brush? If you want to use paint thinner, you can. I personally don't like paint thinner, but you can. You can use brand new clean paint thinner, or you can use brand new clean mineral oil, baby oil, which works out really good. The baby oil doesn't clean the brushes as efficiently. It's much more difficult to clean the brush, but it also doesn't have, the back literally covered with warning labels. So I use just a little bit of clean baby oil. And you gotta make sure that it's incredibly dry. So use up a whole paper towel and just dry that thing off as good as you can, because otherwise you're just going to end up with what looks like just a gummy mess afterward. You got to clean that blender brush really, really good. Any kind of that leftover residue from your other brushes is going to completely ruin it. Yeah, hey, look, this is pretty cool. Yeah, what's the next question? Do I paint from my imagination? I do not paint from my imagination, and I certainly don't recommend it, because once you get a paintbrush in your hand, you're going to forget everything. So what you need to do is sit down with a pen and paper, or get yourself a photograph or something, whatever you want to do. It's completely up to you, and figure out what you're going to do first. And then, as you saw, map it out on the canvas. Because like I said, once you start putting color down, you're going to forget everything. You're not going to know where you were. You're not going to know what you wanted. And all of a sudden, you're going to have what I call the mountain tree. We've all done that. When you learn to paint, you can't do anything other than a mountain and two trees. So that will get you out of that. It'll get you into something like this that is just, it's not complicated, but it's certainly different. So photographs, sketches, and a roadmap. You got to have a roadmap, or you're not going to have success, I think. That's my opinion. There we go. Look at that. So I'm kind of working these colors in, blending them, softening them, so I don't have just a bunch of hard edges. This is just fading kind of back into the shadows. I like the way that looks. Let me stand back. You always stand back at least, a couple feet, 6 feet if you can. Get a good look and make sure that you're going in the right direction, because it's so easy to like what you're doing up close, and then to absolutely hate it from far away. So you got to be very careful that you're checking your work from far away. That way you can make those adjustments. What looks good close up doesn't always look good far away, if you know what I mean. Not bad. Not bad. Look at that. Yeah. How do I keep my paint from smudging? In other words, mixing mud, right? So we'll be doing it later in this video, but I got blue shop towels. You can use rags. Soak the canvas. Soak the oil out of the canvas. The paint on the canvas is your worst enemy. It's not going to do anything but cause you misery. Get that oil off of the canvas so you can apply your next layer without mixing that mud. And like I said, we're going to do that together here today. It makes all the difference. It really does. You just get that oil off the canvas and you won't mix mud. It's a little bit like waiting for the canvas to dry, honestly. But still you can blend. So I think it's like absolutely the best of both worlds when you do that. It's quite great. All right. This is a different technique for trees, isn't it? I was not necessarily planning to do this way, but for the sake of time, I wanted to use kind of, you saw I went to the little fan brush, and I thought, too slow. So I jumped back on this brush, and I'm loving the way that it's looking though. I like the just the kind of softness of it. So it's one of those things that just worked out today. All right, there we go. Yeah.
How do you keep yourself from repetition of leaves and highlights?
How do I keep myself from repetition of leaves and highlights? So as I'm painting, I'm not so much thinking, okay, I'm making a leaf here. I'm making a leaf there. I'm actually, as I'm painting, I'm looking at these groupings and I'm saying, in fact, there was one right here. See this spot and this spot. I actually, that's funny. I was literally thinking this right here looked exactly like this right here. So I did this right here to break it up. So I'm just always looking for patterns. If I see a pattern, I'm going to go in there and mess it up because it just looks less refined if you have these little patterns. You don't really see those in nature. You wouldn't see that. So that would be your answer. Just watch it. Make sure you don't have those patterns. If you see them, get rid of them. Oh, that's pretty. I think we can live with that. Not bad, not bad, not bad. I have never, just in case you're wondering, never painted this before. I'm kind of just, like I said, I've got an idea of where I'm going, a roadmap, but that's it. Right over here, I want a little more highlight. Not too, that's almost too much. What do you think? You know what's exciting? You guys have no idea what I'm going to do. You always get to see the thumbnail. There's never any surprises. But look, you have no idea what I'm going to do. That's exciting for me. It's kind of fun. All right. Is that perfect? Absolutely not. But I think it's a good start. It's definitely a good start. Get a little of that worked up in there. Okay. Now it's time to start doing some big stuff. Big stuff, big stuff. 1-inch brush. I want to get some form of a road happening here. Let's take some yellow ochre. Now, I don't want it to be so disconnected from the painting that it just, you know, looks out of place. I want it to feel like it belongs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to incorporate some of my greens, and I'll show you how to do that. Some of my greens in this road. By the way, my color, just in case you're following along, is red, yellow ochre. Did I put umber in it? Might have put umber in it. Blue and white. Okay. Umber right here, just umber. But I like to, I've been, especially recently, I've been putting the paint on a little thicker, and then I've just been wiping it off because it's faster. It literally just saves time to do it that way. Okay, so that to me is probably enough. Let's get us some blue and some of our yellows.
Do you have a tip on how to use many colors to make it look
We're going right here.
without making it look weird?
Tips for using mini colors without making it look weird. So I know what you mean. You want to have as many colors as you can, but you don't want it to look funny. So here's what I would recommend. I would recommend sneaking your colors in subtly. So in other words, I don't know if we'll have time to do it today, but like on a full landscape where I'm spending several hours on it, I would put like little blue accents in my tree, but I wouldn't make it so shining blue. I would like take my blue and so you know what I mean? Blue and white shadows. I would take that blue, add some black to it, do something so that it's not standing out. You can have purple and orange and blue and green on your bark, but if you kind of do it subtly, they're not vivid colors, they're more muted colors, but you can have a lot of the colors. Hopefully that makes sense. I think the way that you get out of control is when you oh, I want a vivid neon blue. Oh, I want vivid neon red, and it starts to look kind of weird. That would be where that would go wrong, but that is not half bad. I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that little bit of mist there. Okay, let's grab some black and brown and paint this in right here. Okay, that works. This is going to be dark and really high contrast. I think we already mentioned that it was going to be pretty high contrast. Colin, what are you doing? Can I have some black paint, please? Sorry. Yeah, sorry. Oh, look at that. Anybody else do that? I'm out of black. Already out of black. All right, a little bit over here just to darken that corner. Okay. Right there. Thank you. Save me time. Okay, what do you think? Does that look pretty good? Yeah, that looks really good. That looks really good. Now, okay, just for the sake of starting, to establish, because this to me is like where it's going to be really, I know, ignore that. I know it looks dumb. Just wait on it a minute. This is where it's going to be really exciting. I want this to be extremely dark up here. So I'm just going to start doing this. Now, don't freak out. I'm really just telling myself. Yeah, there we go. I'm just laying the paint on so that you guys don't have to sit here for 3 hours with me doing comma strokes. I'm going to try to get some of this done by stippling first. And then I'll go back and I'll touch in with my comma strokes, which I know at least Max is excited to see my comma strokes. And we'll make something happen with this. Okay. I think we can work with that. Get a little more color here. Now, let's set that aside. At this point, we have decisions, right? We can go kind of anywhere we want to go. I think maybe the most important part would be establishing my rock here, actually. So brown and black. You know what? Get a different filbert brush.
Do you recommend a color wheel?
Do I recommend a color wheel? Well, sure. There's nothing wrong with a color wheel, but I don't necessarily use one myself, only because I just was never taught with one. I think maybe if I was taught with one, I would probably like it more, but it's certainly a good tool because what it does is it allows you to pick colors that are complementing and you can kind of see, okay, was this going to clash? Is this not going to clash? So for sure, use a color wheel if you are struggling with your colors, but it's not necessarily like an end-all tool. Okay, that looks really pretty decent. That looks pretty decent. All right. So I got my rock cliff. We could probably go ahead and transition. Now let's save the path. The path is going to be a lot of fun. Let's work on that tree. Let's work on that tree. So to do the tree, I'm thinking that we get a nice dark color, just brown, black. All right, here we go. Here we go. Big trunk going in right here. Yeah, not bad. Mm-hmm. Did I change the color of my studio? Not recently. Maybe a year ago. Yeah. It was blue. It was about a year ago. So I changed it to gray. I think it looks a little more subtle. But that's all I've done to it recently. I mean, most of you probably remember the old gray carpet background. Remember those days? All right, there we go. We spent a lot of years on the gray carpet. All right, that looks pretty good. Look at that. Now, a lot of that's not going to show. It really isn't, but some of it will. This is a brand new filbert brush. It's coming to a nice sharp chisel edge. If yours isn't brand new, you may want to consider something like a 1/4 inch brush. Oh, look at that. Brand new. It'll never do this again. My poor brushes. Okay. There's another branch. Another branch. What's nice about this is there's just not that much happening here in the background. You know, it's not that intense. It's not that much going on. So when we put these branches over it, you really, look at that. They just pop. It's exciting. That's really exciting. Okay, yeah. Yes, we do need some Sophie paintings. We do need some Sophie paintings. That would be fun. All right, there we go. That looks pretty good. I'm just messing around. Tell you what, let's get see this is worn out. See that? Can we get a close up of that brush? See how worn out it is? This is a detail round. Stay right there. That's worn out. Here's a detail round that's brand new. See the difference? Don't use this brush for this step. Use this brush because this will drastically improve the lifespan of your brushes. It's very important to have 2 brushes if you're going to be doing a lot of comma strokes with dark color. Because when you do dark color, you tend to do you know, a lot of bold grinding strokes. And this canvas is sandpaper to your brushes. I'm just going to say it right now. So what I'm doing is I'm going to create some of these like intermediate color leaves. They're not super dark and they're not obviously highlight. It's just going to help to create a little bit of a feeling of, yeah, there's something going on back here. There's a lot going on back here. It's not just one dead color. I'm going to try to keep a lot of that within the confines of what I've done already, at least for now. We can make the tree bigger, but you know, you can't really make it smaller. Anybody wanted to ever make a tree smaller? It's not easy. There, so we're going to avoid that. Look at that. Not bad, not bad. What do you think right back here? Maybe a little. You could spend literally all day, all night for us, painting these comma strokes. Maybe one day we will, but it's not today. We're just going to make a good effect, but without going so crazy. So I'm working that around that tree. I don't want that tree to be in the front. Of course, I'm doing it out of order, and you know I love to do that. Yeah. What direction is the light coming from? It's really more or less shooting down the middle. So these are going to be backlit. As you see here from my trees, it is catching it. So look at my hand. It's kind of more or less coming through like that. See what I mean? It's not like a direct this way. It's like a this way. But it's not completely backlit. Kind of weird lighting today. All right, what do you think? Pretty good. So I'm just adding these little dots of detail. That's all it is, dots of detail. Yeah, I can work with that. It's not bad. Perfect? No, but it's definitely a decent start. Definitely a decent start. Let's get back up here. We need more. Yeah. My round brush is, this one right here, is synthetic. So it's very, very soft. And it comes to a razor sharp point, which is very useful for doing leaves and whatnot. For the comma stroke leaves, at least. Now this one is natural. That's why it's going crazy. Look at that. I actually like that. I like that. I like that. Oh, we're going to have a lot of interesting and intricate details here. Yes. See how I'm placing kind of the dark inside? The light, just letting a little bit of that light shine through, but I'm loving the dark. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's. I think that right there to me is just enough. I can just see those trees in there. It's exciting. Okay, now what do we want to do with this branch? We've got a couple of choices. We could leave it as a dead branch. That could be kind of interesting. Or we could put some leaves on it. Let's put some leaves on this one. Let's put some leaves on that one. So for that, fan brush, white, yellow, super bright. So this is as bright as I can go, white and yellow, right up in here. I'm just going to start applying some of this to the canvas because this canvas is going to be my second palette. If you know what, if you paint a lot of leaves, you probably know what I mean. Going to be my second palette right over those. Push those back a little. What's my favorite thing to paint? Probably forests and mountains. Probably mountains. I'm actually going to say I like painting mountains. I don't paint as many mountains as I probably should, but I love mountains. I always have loved mountains. And going back 10 years ago, that was my first successful painting, was a mountain. So I do enjoy mountains. There we go. Okay, that's pretty good. I like that. I like that. I like what it's, well, you tell you what I like. I like that it's gonna shine. This painting's gonna shine. And I already can tell it's gonna shine. Okay, got yellow ochre, just straight yellow ochre. What am I doing with that? I don't know. I'm just sprinkling it in just to add variety. I like variety. Okay, that's good. And maybe we'll have that nice bare patch right there. I don't know. Who knows? Back to our sap green kind of mess here. And let's get some of that sap green mess pushed in right here. Yes, look at that. You know what I tell people in my classes, speaking classes, I say, close your eyes and throw it in, right? Anybody in the stream here been to one of my classes? I say that. Close your eyes and throw it in. Because the worst thing you can do is create symmetry. So as long as you don't have symmetry, you're going to be okay. What do you think? I think right here, watch this. Sap green, very dark, very, very dark. There goes all my sap green. That's okay. We'll be all right. Right up in here, I want to just tap on and kind of create what is just like a little moss, a little action on these rocks. Nothing too crazy, just something. Yeah, that looks good. That looks really, really good. Oh yeah. Okay, maybe it doesn't look really good, but it's exciting anyways. Fun anyways. You can have fun. It's there. 1 or 2 brush strokes. I know I don't have to get that excited about it. Okay. Let's see here. Let's continue on up here since we're already going. I'm going right back to my detail round brush. This is my newer detail round brush. Can't speak. Newer detail round brush, and I'm going to apply just a few strokes, comma strokes. Almost pure, not quite pure white, but almost pure white. This is going to create a bit of a visual interest. Now, one art rule, if you enjoy art rules, is don't ever use pure white. Well, here's the thing. When you're doing an oil painting all in 5 minutes or an hour, whatever it is, while it's wet, then yes, if you put white on there, it's not going to be white except for maybe the first stroke, maybe. So if you use pure white, it's going to instantly become gray, green, brown, whatever. So I'm okay with it. That's all I'm saying is it's okay to use pure white because it doesn't remain pure white. Acrylic painting, not the same. Don't use pure white when you're acrylic painting because it looks too sharp, it looks too harsh, it looks too weird, if that makes sense. Hey, there we go. That looks good. Oh, it's mixing? That's okay. We're good with that. Get some of this, some of that together. Oh yeah. So what are we at? Just about a half hour in, which isn't bad, actually. I purposely picked a painting that didn't have 300 different elements so that we didn't have to rush each element and kind of make it look rushed. So rather than doing a whole forest of trees, we have super easy trees, and then we could spend some amount of time getting a nice looking tree versus having to rush it. Because I just tell you right now, I could not paint a mountain landscape, a vast mountain with 300 little evergreen trees all working up in a waterfall and then another waterfall and then a big tree and a rotten tree and a fallen tree. I couldn't do it in an hour. There's no way. So that's why I kind of purposely chose something, planned out something that was quite a lot simpler than that, but still pretty. So that should give you an idea, because I know there's art teachers here in the stream. If you're teaching a class, try to, you can do a beautiful painting that's not completely intense, and it will make your students happier, and it'll certainly save you a lot of frustration. There we go. Get some of this. Yeah. How many hours a week do I paint? This may surprise you. I think I'm down to probably about 8 hours of painting a week, maybe a little more, maybe more like 10 hours a week. And then of course, if I film a DVD lesson, it's only an hour because I can literally repaint. That's why every YouTube video is not a DVD, because I spend many hours and I'm trial and error. You've seen, it's like I'll put a tree and the tree disappears. Well, I don't want that sort of stuff on the lesson. So once I learn how to do the painting myself, then I'll go back and I'll redo it and teach you how to do it. That's what the DVDs are. We don't cut out anything, but I also do it in a way that's way more linear and I'm not wasting the time, because half the time of painting isn't actually placing the strokes down, it's figuring out what you're doing. So that's why. But there we go, a little more yellow. Yeah, what's the next question? What size canvas? This is an 18 by 24. The other size that I like for acrylic is 14 by 18, but that's mostly, I'll be honest, that's mostly because this is just films well. Fills the frame nicely. You could easily paint with a 16 by 20. That's like the most common size. 16 by 20. 18 by 24 is a little more rectangular, a little longer. Okay, there we go. Mm-hmm. Am I going to do a live? Have I ever done a live painting in acrylic? I don't think I have. Yes, we need to do one. I will say, I don't know how many people actually heard, but I have a better internet connection. That's why we haven't dropped a frame probably. So we can actually do a few more live lessons. Not lessons, but just streams. These are not lessons. I hope you can follow along. That's great. That'd be fun. But, you know, I'm going quick and I'm not explaining everything. We're just here to hang out and have fun. However, if you do your version of this painting, I will put it in the next YouTube video. So you've got 5 or 6, probably 7 days, 5 or 6, I don't know, whatever. You've got several days to go do this painting. Sometimes I'm talking and I can't paint. Go do this painting. Let me see your version. Tag me, use the special Facebook page that we have, or share it on social media. We will grab it and put it in the next YouTube video, as well as the ones from the previous week as well, because I can't share those here in the stream very easily. Yep. Yeah, look at that. We're just starting to kind of work this tree in. Now, I'm going to be very careful to not overdo and destroy all of my little stamped, with my stamping strokes, because if I do, then I'm going to lose. It'll all be one. It'll all be a comp stroke. I'm going to lose my variety. I like my variety. Now, each stroke touches another. That's one thing when I'm doing these. Each comp stroke touches another. That is the rule. That's not a suggestion. If you don't do that, it will look so disconnected, so weird. You got to have them all touching. Makes it look so much more natural. Yeah, what's that? How do I thin my paint for the liner brush? So I don't think it's a detail liner. I don't do it for the detail brush. I only do it for the liner brush. You can thin it with just a little bit of linseed oil you get at the art store. Nothing fancy. You can thin it. I mean, the better thing, probably the easier thing to do would be paint thinner. But you know, I don't actually use paint thinner anymore. So I have to use the oil. But if you put too much if you put too much oil in, it just takes forever to dry. Then you get into where the old masters, where it took 8 months for the painting to dry. We don't want to do that if we can help it. So be sparing with that and just use enough to get it thin. Don't overdo it. Okay, that to me works. Wow, I like that. Yeah. Are
you doing any more murals?
Am I doing any? No, I haven't done a mural. Am I doing any more murals? I have not done a mural in a very, very long time. And I really don't have a plan to do another one. But if I ever get an opportunity to do another one, I will definitely bring the camera along. Those are fun. I kind of miss doing that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. Where's Mom and Dad? Mom is downstairs babysitting. We're over here at my house right now. And Dad is behind the camera that's moving, the one that's zooming in and following me. That's Dad. Okay, what do you think? Pretty good, pretty good. See how I stand back and I assess, make sure everything's working. All right. So you guys are probably tired of that. I'm tired of that. Let's shift our focus to something else. Let's do the road. Now, I could wash that brush out, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to wipe it on a paper towel. Okay, good enough. Let's create just some amount of highlight. And like I said, I'm going to try to bring in some of these greens, which is not normal for a road, but it's probably a good thing. Probably a good thing. Yeah, what's the next question? Am I using any medium? I'm not using any medium other than what I already applied to the canvas. So I applied just to my sky area, and I didn't really do it over here. A little bit of clear gel and white. And that's just the Gamblin clear gel that you can just get on the little tube. It's a little thinner than paint. The Gamblin clear gel and white, and then I just apply it very thin over the canvas, not too much. Otherwise, I don't use any medium mixed in with my paints because there's no reason to thin your colors. I find that when you start thinning your colors, yes, layer number 2 may stick well if you thin it, but layer number 3 will become mud instantly. I notice that if I thin my colors, personally me, if I thin my colors while I paint, I find that I run into mud more often than not. I don't know about you. I don't have time for mud. So I just don't thin my colors. What I'll do instead is I'll wipe my canvas off. And that will do essentially the same thing. It'll keep you from mixing mud. Now see how that has got a little green tinge to it? See that color? I like that. It kind of helps, I think, bring painting. Yeah, I interrupted you. You were going to ask a question.
When you frame your painting, are there any lessons you learned for someone?
Okay, talking about framing a painting, is there anything I learned about framing? Any lessons? Well, I personally am very attached to the black, and if you've seen any of my recent videos, I've been framing my paintings at the end, which yes, does mess up the edges of the painting, but it's okay. I love the black frames with the little black velvet insert. You know what I'm talking about? Because what that does is it ties in. All of my paintings have dark, so it ties in with the dark. I would get a frame that ties in well with your colors, because you can get a frame that doesn't tie in at all, and it'll actually make your painting look worse. So I would say lesson number one is just make sure that it all matches. Like the colors, it all works. The gold, it works. You see what I mean? If it doesn't match, if it's clashing, it doesn't need to be on it. Now, a barnwood frame is okay for a barn painting. It's okay for kind of like maybe a country painting with a fence, but I would not do barnwood for everything, me personally. But it does work really well if you're doing a barn painting. It just depends. It just depends. But the worst thing you can do is never frame your paintings. If you have never framed your painting, you're missing out on a really fun experience, because literally you will have a better looking piece of art at the end if you frame it. And all you're doing is you're sticking it in a frame. So easy. What I would do, because I know they're expensive, I would just buy one. Put it in a frame, take a picture of it, kind of, hey, okay, that's what it looks like in a frame. Take it out of the frame. You don't have to have everything in a frame, but at least get a look at what it would look like. And then if you ever sell it, well, great. Then the person will frame it. So just a thought there. Actually, frames are something I'm very serious about. I do like frames. Okay, what do you think? See how that green's tying it in? See that? I don't know if it's grass, moss. Who cares? Leaves, it doesn't matter. It's just abstract and it works. Okay. I don't want to make any promises, but if you remind me, we can flick on some pebbles to the road or something really cool. Let's get just a little bit of a dark here. Yeah. Cool. So we're just now. I know the light's kind of come, but it's just a little shadow, not too much, not too much. Otherwise, it'll look like the light's coming from the wrong way. Okay. How do I clean an old dusty painting? I would just take as long as the dirt's not like adhered to it, I'd just take me a clean 2-inch brush and scrub it. It should be okay. I think, yeah, if it's just dusty, I'd just scrub it. I don't think you're going to hurt it. There we go. Look at that. We got a little moss kind of growing down. Oh, that's creates another layer, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay, so I'm kind of creating some of these rocks and layers just literally with a stroke or two. Not giving it any thought, really. I'm just throwing it in and seeing what it looks like and then adjusting it. This is no thought required. Oh, should I even be saying? I shouldn't be saying that, but there you go.
How much pressure are you putting on the brush?
How much pressure? Great question. How much? I am putting like no pressure. In fact, if you see me, see how I changed to this handle here? I went from this, which cuts right through. Watch this. Just watch this. See the difference? See how I'm cutting through? And see, look at the difference. See how I'm layering on? See, when I get that paint on there, much brighter. Okay. The reason that's happening is because I'm using the brush like this, and I'm barely touching that canvas, and it just won't mix that way as much. So the pressure that I'm using is extraordinarily important. I guess I don't talk about it enough, actually. So maybe I will start mentioning the pressure of the brush more, but I kind of forget to mention that. It's very important. Thank you. Appreciate that. Do I varnish my painting? Sometimes I have. I don't usually, but just because I never get around to it. I have too many paintings, if you know what I mean. If you do use a varnish, wait for it to be good and dry before you do it. But yeah, absolutely. And let me tell you when a varnish really comes in handy. When you are doing a painting and you notice that your colors, your darks, for instance, I've got a painting that I did last week, and my darks, because I used some oil on the liner brush, a lot of oil in the blacks, some of my blacks dried really glossy and some of them dried really flat. If I sell that painting, I'm going to varnish it because it looks weird. So that would actually be one time you would absolutely varnish a painting. It evens out the dark areas. That's what a varnish does, for me at least. I mean, it also seals up the canvas, which is good, but that's the big thing. I don't have it. Do I have any instructions on my easel? I don't have any because I really just kind of pieced it together. I did home make this easel years ago, many years ago, and it's still good. I think I made it out of birch wood, but I did that because I couldn't find an easel solid enough made out of wood that I really liked. Let me see here. What are we doing next? I'm getting lost. I'm getting lost. This is fun. Let me go ahead and grab just a little bit of. Let me grab a little bit of blue, green. I just want to see. I think I want this to be vegetation here. Good. Oh, this is subtle. Okay. There. I'm probably the only one that cared about that, but that's that. Now, before we go too much further, let's go ahead and highlight. I'm just going to grab the 1-inch brush. Would I use the 1-inch brush if I was painting this normally? Probably not. But it's going to be a little bit speedier. And you guys are probably not going to notice. Probably nobody, I wouldn't notice. It's just I probably wouldn't use this brush for this. But there you go. We're going to try something new. I love it. Well, it's not new, but you know. I'm going to smooth this out a little bit. See that? Going to get a nice slope to it. Smooth it. There you go. Drag it. You can tap it, drag it, lift it. Mm-hmm. Okay. If you're painting from a picture, do you want to start with the background first or the objects that are far away? Absolutely. Start with the thing that's furthest away and then work your way forward. That's going to be the best successful way to do a painting from a picture. If you work from, you start in the middle and you start jumping around, you may run into issues. It's not for sure, but you may run into issues where it's kind of hard to work around what you've already done. So if you can at all help it, absolutely. Okay, that's good enough. Get us a nice highlight there. A little bit more of a highlight there. Oh, wow. Yep, white, very white, very misty. See, it's not like not a lot of shining yellow. It's a little bit more misty, a little bit more soft in my color, and I like that. I think that's a little different, Okay, let's get this brush. I need some more darks. Darks. I don't have nearly enough. See that? Not even close to it. Come on now. You got to have a little contrast here. There we go. Yes. Yeah. Oh, nice. Thank you. How do I get my grass to look realistic? I like to crunch. See how I'm crunching? So I'm crunching. Is my hand blocking it? No, it's not. So I'm crunching. Crunching is the secret. I'm really serious. Because what it does is it uses the craziness of the brush to your advantage. And it allows you to get 3,000 little different blades of grass doing all sorts of different things. And it makes it look more natural. Get a little bit of a more natural edge there to that grass anyways. Okay, perfect. No, pretty good. Yeah, it is. Let's go over here. Yes, you can do this painting with acrylic. Absolutely. I think it would be great in acrylic. In fact, I almost did it in acrylic because I didn't have any white paint. We found some, but isn't that great? What was it, half an hour before we were about ready to start the stream? Oh, I don't have any white paint in the house at all. Yeah. See, after 10 years, I still can't keep white paint in the house. But there you go. That looks pretty good. Yes, I do sell white paint. Mm-hmm. So if you make a simple mistake in an oil painting, I'd get the blue shop towels and I'd wipe it off. I would scrape it off, wipe it off, redo it, potentially just blot it. And you would be surprised. You would be shocked at the amount of mistakes you can fix just by blotting the canvas. I'm serious. Or taking your finger and smudging something and just smudging it. Sometimes, that's all it takes. Yeah. Yes, Gary, you should have sent me some from I should have had some from Dad's stockpile. I've got plenty of stockpiles. Oh, that's okay. Artists are supposed to be scatterbrained. That's part of the deal, isn't it? Okay, good. See how I'm working these shadows in. I like this. See how it's already kind of creating a little more mood and atmosphere to this. I like that. The shadows, you can't overdo the shadows. You got to have these beautiful shadows. I like that. I've got a cup of coffee here, which I'm going to have some. I'm thirsty. I'm doing a lot of talking. That's good. That looks really... this is what I was picturing. So I like that. I like that this is kind of cryptic. You can't really tell what's going on in there. The path needs a little work. But before we do that, let's get us our fence going. Actually, I'm going to do it with the 3/4 flat brush. Brown, black, blue, red. See, you can actually mix up a nice dark color. It's not just black. It's got all these different things in it. A little more visual interest. You ever get paint caked up halfway in your brush? Okay. Let's start up here because then by the time we end down here, it'll be lighter. So I'm going to go right here. Start small when you do something like this. Go smaller than you want it. Do I want another one there? I don't know. See how spontaneous painting is? Yes, we have a plan, but yes, we also have no idea what we're doing. And that's fun to me. I think that's fun. It's exciting. Okay, look, as we go out, I need to get softer with my stroke. Lighter, 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 lighter. And it goes right down the hill. Oh, I like that. Yeah, that crazy. See, look at that. Fences, to me, are one of the coolest things you can do. You can instantly create a nice effect. Just see, you want to go down into that painting now. And then see, they got just subtly softer and then they got darker because we started there, ran out of paint. That works. Okay, so let's leave that for a minute or two. Yeah. My favorite tree to paint is something like this, like these leaf trees, just like what we did right here. I like evergreens. I love evergreens, don't get me wrong. But something about this right here, like this sort of thing, kind of backlit, just pretty. It's really pretty. This plus a waterfall can make for one of the coolest subjects. All right, where are we at? Let's use this little flat brush. I need some highlight. And I'm going to go with a yellow and white highlight. Very much similar to the tree. I'm going to highlight my road with this, again, to help kind of create just the same feeling in the painting. Because I don't want this painting to feel disconnected with color. It would be weird, wouldn't it be weird to just have all this green and then just brown and nothing but brown? Yeah, it's got brown in it, but it's not exclusively brown. It's got these green tones in it. I think to me that just works. Now, do you have to put green in your path? Yellow, green is your highlight? Absolutely not. But just my artistic choice, I think it works for this painting. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you want to start painting something, you start with a shadow first or the light. For the most part, generally, you start with the shadow first. You work from dark to light. That's the traditional answer. Wet on wet style, this sort of stuff, everything's wet and messy and gloppy. Here's what you can do. just like you saw me do. You notice how I put the light down first, and then I put my darks over, and I just left my lights kind of where they were. That will help you get crisper, more beautiful, kind of bright highlights. But 9 times out of 10, you're going to be working from dark to light, as you see me doing here on the path. Actually, that path is, see how we're starting to brighten it up a little there in the middle, and that's starting to bring, I think, your eye into the middle somewhat. You know, let's leave it a little dark and kind of cryptic over there. I think that's adds something. Yeah. Hi, Keith Olson. Still contacting hotels. I know we lost our good hotel here in the local area because they closed. So I'm just working on, I'm still working. I think they're still kind of, I think everybody's kind of getting back. But I will let you know hopefully soon. It is going to be fun. Now, you know what the hard part's going to be? Is going to be picking the 3 paintings that we're going to be doing in the workshop because it's been so long. Oh, that's not going to be fun to pick. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Perfect. Not really, but I do think that we've suggested enough of a road that, yeah, see how it's dark in there? And it's, yeah, it works. As I stand back, kind of squint my eyes. Yeah, that works. Hey, I see something. We should totally do this. And hopefully we don't mess up our painting. You ready? Soften it. There we go. That's pretty cool. Just missed that out a little bit. Was that subtle? Yes, but I think it adds a little something to the painting. Okay. That's good. Let's get our liner brush action going, at least over here. So I've got a little cup of oil here. I'm just going to dip my liner brush into. Oh, I am spoiled today. I've got a brand new liner brush. That's exciting.
Will you go to the West Coast?
Will I go to the West Coast? Eventually, yes. I am from California originally. For those of you that didn't know that. And I'm sure we will go back to the West Coast because I really haven't been there in 3 years, right? It's been a very long time. So I need to get back to the West Coast at some point. Actually, a class there would be great. So I'm doing barbed wire on this fence. You certainly don't have to. You can do boards. It'll be interesting to see on your version what you do. Are you going to do wire or boards? What's it going to be? It's just subtle here.
Is this painting for sale?
I can certainly have this painting for sale. And I'll tell you what, I will mark the price down just a little bit because I spent literally an hour on it. So I'll tell you what, as soon as this stream is done, I will have this on the website for sale. So first come, first serve. Let me clean that brush off. So what I did there, I cleaned my brush off, and so I got basically nothing on it. And I'm just going to run a little wire on these background ones. I want it to be super subtle. See this? Super subtle. Barely touch it. Oh, there we go. That's enough. Kind of smudge that because I don't want it to be too sharp. That's good enough right there. There. Yes, I am. Probably going to do it with the liner brush. Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. They can't hear. So I'm like answering yes, no. My wife said, am I going to highlight the fence posts? Yes, I'm going to do it right this minute. Yes, I'm doing it right now because I forgot and you reminded me. But that's okay. Thank you. There we go. Don't think I'm going to do too much highlight. I think I'm going to do just... Hi, Sean. There we go. That works. There we go. Did we say hi to Max and Linda and Velda? Are they here? And Ben? And everybody else? Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. There we go. Oh, yeah. Okay. Whoever reminded me to do the fence highlight, I'm very thankful because I would have ended the stream and I would have been really sad. So thank you. That looks to be about all we need. I'm going to warm some of this up just a little. Oh, wow. Look at that. Because this painting isn't that warm as far as the reds are concerned. It's very green. So look at this. having just a little red sprinkled. It's kind of unexpected. I like that. Just the first two. Let's not do it on the rest. Because as you go back, you start to lose that redness, right? You wouldn't have that red. Okay. No, go ahead. What was that question? What brushes do I recommend for beginners? So I don't actually paint with that many brushes, but a 1-inch brush for sure, a filbert brush for sure, a fan brush, and a detail round will get you started. And all of those are on the website if you need them. Okay, see what I'm doing? I'm just creating kind of a soft bluish shadow. I'm just going to add in a little bit of a shadow on some of these trees just to pick them out from the background. See that? Oh yeah. Let me look. Oh wait. Well, we've been just about an hour. Do we care? No. We're just going to keep going. This is fun. This is fun. Yeah. Do I use my knife anymore? Not as much as I used to. I should. The problem with it is that I don't know. I like the detail that I get with the brush. But what I maybe could do is start working it more into the foreground. You know what I mean? The chunky, thick paint would be in the foreground. The thin, flat paint would be in the background. Yeah, that could work. I don't use it as much as I used to, and I kind of just forgot about it, which is sad. I need to get back to it. Yeah. What's that? Oh, you lost the question? That's funny. When I highlight, is it just white, or should I make it a lighter value than the post? When you're saying highlight the post, yeah. Well, what I did was I just made a light tan. I don't think I would go pure white, but I didn't just lighten the color. I actually mixed up a tan, a umber, a white, kind of a tan. If you just go and you lighten up the fence post color, you'll end up with gray. Probably not what you would want, depending on what you're doing. Okay, now this is where it gets serious. Now we're adding in these blue tones. Oh yeah. My favorite part of finishing out a painting is adding these blue shadows, because you wouldn't think that they should really do any good. They're just blue. Oh, but it makes a big difference. Yes, look at that. Yeah. Oh, all right. Grammy is watching. That's my grandma. Grammy's watching. Fun. Cool. All right, there we go.
Somebody suggested near the fence.
Wildflowers near the fence. That's a great suggestion. Because we're doing a live painting, I'm going to take your suggestion. Thank you. They didn't give me a color, so I'm going to pick it. Yellows, right? Yellows. What else is it going to be? Maybe some whites. Reds. No reds. There. Actually, red and green are yes, they are, but this is getting controversial now. I think we've lost it. We're going downhill. There we go. I actually love the idea of these little wildflowers. Great choice. Thank you.
What style painting would you recommend for beginners?
What style painting? Okay, what style of painting would I recommend for a beginner? Oil on canvas, watercolor, or acrylic? I'm going to say, if you are limited on budget, acrylic. I'm going to say, if you've got a space dedicated like I have here, oil. Watercolor, there's some people that are really good at it. I find it a touch hard. I can do it. It's fun, but it's harder for me. And that could just be because I'm inexperienced with it. So watercolor, I'm probably not the best guy to ask. But I'm going to say acrylics, they're not as hard as you would think. They're actually more beginner friendly than you would imagine. Oils are good. I did not answer that question well. I did a very political answer. I made everybody happy. But I'm going to say, you know what? I'm just going to say it. Oils is where I started. So there you go. A little more of this over there. Just some color. I like that. It's pretty. Just a shot of color here and there. Oh, man. Very pretty. Oh, I love those wildflowers. Thank you. Thank you.
Someone suggested making some purple
Some purple ones could be good. I am going to throw smatterings of a red one or here or there. Just not too many, just enough. Because somebody mentioned it. Somebody mentioned red. There. Complementing colors. You like that? Everybody. I don't know if I like it. People are telling me how to paint back there. I'm very much used to me by myself. Oh boy. Am I going to get Max or Sophie on camera? No, you're welcome to come up. No, Sophie says not right now. All right, there we go. Oh, that looks good. I like that red on that side, if you can see it. I can see it here in person. Somebody said purple flowers. That would be fun. I agree. Purple flowers, but not too many, and maybe we'll do them on this side. Why are you laughing now? There we go. Cool. Cool. Yeah, I think that works. A little bit of, maybe just a little bit of purple here even in the path. You think it's hard to paint. Try painting with 3 people laughing behind you. There we go. Oh, I like that. I think we were going to splash some paint on this road. Should we do that? Or are we just asking for trouble? We're totally asking for trouble. Let's do this. Yeah. Okay. Interesting question. If I use acrylics, would I still use clear gel for the sky? I would not, because the clear stuff that I have for the acrylics is called foundation medium. This is thinned down with oil. This white here is thinned down with oil. It's white and yellow. I'm just going to flick it on like so. No, and here's why. Because it's going to dry anyways. So what you do is you mix your clear in as you go if you need to thin that paint down. But generally what we use is a dry brush blending technique so that, anywhere that, it dries and you can kind of smooth over with your next color. You glaze it. That's how you blend. But no, you really don't use a clear like you do with oils. Okay, so it was that super subtle and not worth it probably, but at least I did it. Now, I'm going to stand back and I'm going to look overall. Just want to take a look. Yeah. Yeah, how about some grass? Make sure. Okay, yeah, we're good still. Yeah. Are all my paintings landscapes, or do I do what? Well, I do seascapes, which barely count as something other than a landscape, right? And so anything else other than a landscape or seascape, I've done one portrait. Probably not planning on doing another. It's not easy for me. Maybe I'll figure it out one of these days. Flowers, I'll do a flower every once in a while. Actually, kind of enjoy flowers.
My boat.
Dad wants me to paint him a boat, a fishing boat. One of those Alaskan fishing boats. That's going to be a little different. Barns. So no, mostly you've seen. That's mostly kind of what you see. Nothing too outside of that usually. All right, well, at this point, I'm kind of wrapping it up. Does anybody have any questions or thoughts, any last questions or thoughts here as I wrap this up? Kind of just putting on a few splashes of detail here. Anything that looks like I might need to change, or questions about the way I'm painting it or something as I wrap it up? Oops, whoa, don't do that. Look at this. Good lesson, don't do that. It's too bright. I don't like that at all. It's way too bright, so I'm going to go over it. Just smush it in. I'll be fine. Oh, limbs. How did you let me forget limbs? Okay, so I've got this thin brown. I'm going to do limbs here. And maybe a little highlight on these trees. I don't know. I was kind of planning not to do that, but I might. There we go. Just a few right there. Yeah. Rocks. I'd be up for rocks, but where?
Somebody said maybe some on the road.
Oh, some big rock. Oh yeah, a rock on the road would be cool. That would be super cool. Let's do that.
Also,
Yeah.
maybe some more detail on the right.
Detail on the right. Yeah, it is kind of blank.
That's what you.
It's smudgy. Yeah, I agree. Let's do some details over there. Actually, what I'm gonna do after I spent just a minute more here getting in these limbs. When you do limbs, make sure you kind of get them nice and sharp. You don't want them too snaky or weird. Anybody done a snaky and weird limb? You don't want that.
Someone
Yeah.
wants to see mine.
Miles is downstairs. We'll have to show him in a next video or something because it's been a while. He's gotten quite a bit bigger. Oh, I like that sort of thing. Maybe something like that down there. What do you think? Ooh, that's good. That's good right there. Mm-hmm. We need to do something. Let's go over there. We need to do something over here. Yeah.
Velda says we need to work on another backlit.
Yes.
Something at dawn or dusk.
Velda says we need a backlit painting, something at dawn or dusk. I agree. That would be cool. See, that would be really cool. I like backlit paintings. They're fun. So look what I'm doing here. I'm going to create what I think is maybe it's like a brush pile or something here. See this? Something tall. See I'm kind of going weird and crazy with this. Maybe bring in branches over here. Something to see how that's so blank over here. See that? And this is going to create some contrast in this area. Also create a little darkness. I think for a spur of the moment, I'm making this up as I go along. I think that is, yeah, I'm actually looking over at the camera. I like the way that's starting to kind of fill in this little area. What do you think? There we go. Darker, darker, darker. Look at that. Smush it in. Why not? Boom. There you go. It kind of, look at this. Let's do it over here. Let's do this. Is my hand covering that? No, we're okay. Look at this. I'm going to bring in branches here. This is exciting. This to me, this is fun and exciting. Oops. As I sling paint all over my studio. Anybody ever been there? All over the studio. This is telling a story. See, we're suggesting something that's not there, which is a tree, but we don't see that tree. But look, we're suggesting just the limbs of an old dead tree or something. Oh, I like that coming in on that side. Good. Okay, thank you. Whoever suggested that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I like that. All right, somebody wants rocks. I think Keith wanted rocks. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. And see how badly we can mess up our painting. Rock right there. Just a couple. We're not going to go crazy. Maybe one there. There. Just some amount of like boulder rock things. Maybe right there. See, I kind of suggested some up here. I don't know if it was so dark. I don't know if you would really notice them or not. But I did sort of suggest them. We'll go a little crazier with the rocks. How's that? Okay. Now, with that done, let's get us our highlight again. Quite bright and boom, just right here. Do a quick smattering right on that rock. See, it's a little different color than the dirt, so it stands out as well, which is a good thing. Oops, we're starting to get a little thin there. Starting to get a little out of hand. I'm going to grab that. Yeah. That's my signature changed over the years. It has not. My signature has not changed over the years, really. In fact, I'm the worst when it comes to signing. I sign them like right as they're leaving the door if I sell them. I'm the worst. I don't like signing paintings because it's hard to do it when it's wet. What's a backlit painting? Well, it's where you have such a strong light source in the middle that it's like blowing out the highlights, if that makes sense. So that all your branches and leaves, they're like the highlights from behind. I mean, they're not unlike this, but this is very subtle backlit. All right. I think we are about to wrap it up right there. Let me get a little more action on that rock there. Hopefully that's enough rocks. I don't want to go crazy with it. Hopefully that works. Yeah, I don't know. It does. It adds a little interest. It was a good call. It adds a little visual interest, changes it up. Yeah, sharpens up the front. I like that. Yep. It does. It does. I like that. I like that. Yeah, it does. All right. So tell you what, I enjoyed it. What did you? Are we good? Before I go, all right. Well, let me jump in here and just tell you thank you so much. I enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed. I enjoyed your questions. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing it. And don't forget to check out our website. This painting will be for sale, first come, first serve. So we'll definitely do this again sooner or later. Don't forget to like the video, share it, and subscribe if you're not already. Thanks for watching.